podcast and YouTube channel release. I've hijacked the hashtag Wednesday Match Play studios here on a Thursday. Hopefully you enjoyed this week's episode with Evan Schiller on hashtag Wednesday Match Play. But this time we've got a special guest for you, the host of hashtag Wednesday Match Play, Mr. Ricky Potts. Ricky, Tiger just won his first golf tournament in 5 years. 5 years. I know you've been waiting just to watch golf because you don't even bother to watch if he's not in contention. But now you can start watching golf again, which is great. But I'd love if we could just talk about the GOAT on a little extra overtime 9 holes here of hashtag Wednesday Match Play. How's it going, man?
I'm good, man. I love that. You talk about 9 holes. Like, I love that format, a little shorter, a little special edition focused. I like that. I think we call this, so tip of the cap to my former boss, Chris Strauss. He used to always say, let's go play an emergency 9. And then it was an E9, so he didn't have to even say emergency. We shortened it to hashtag E9. So maybe I steal a little bit of his thunder when we call it that. This is the first time we've done something like this. And I'm excited because, I mean, we're talking about Tiger, right? I got my Sunday red on. I mean, I had to throw on it's Nike too. I mean, I have to tip of the cap to him. I did not love his black undershirt that he was wearing on Sunday, but that's fine. He won the golf tournament. That's all that matters. But as everyone at home watching knows, I am Tiger's self-proclaimed biggest fan. And when that happened, I played golf on Sunday morning, and I played in Fort Myers, and I was worried I wasn't going to make it home in time to see it, and it took forever. Like the slowest round, 5.5 hour round. It was awful. Get home, he's on like the second or third hole. Cheryl had the TV already turned on. She was miserable sitting on the couch knowing what was about to happen, and about 3.5, 4 hours later, I might have been crying. I can't help it. I'm not crying. You're crying. I mean, I'm sorry. It was emotional watching him walk down 18 for number 80. And about a year ago, I said when he was basically at the bottom of the barrel, I didn't think he was ever going to play again. I said he doesn't get a win in 18, but he plays good. He starts putting the pieces together, but he wins in 19. So he's already ahead of schedule for me. So I'm excited to talk a little bit about Tiger tonight on this E9, and excited to hear what kind of questions you have prepared for me tonight.
Awesome. Well, let's rock and roll. I love the Sunday red here, the Thursday red, as it were, today. All right. So Tiger Woods just won his 2018 Tour Championship. It's been 1,876 days since you've had a chance to watch him lift a cup or a trophy of any kind. What do you think this means for him in his comeback, Ricky?
You know, I think it's one of the currently not going to be considered the best comeback in professional sports because it's not a major. And I don't want to discredit the win whatsoever. But I think that when he wins his next major, not if, when he wins his next major, that will be the cherry on top of what will be the greatest comeback in professional sports. But we have to look back not much more than a year ago. The guy was just getting the ability to hit chip shots. He was just starting to walk. He wasn't even taking full swings yet. And you know, what happened with the DUI, we can't hide it. It happened. It was not alcohol. It was prescription drugs, yada, yada, yada. If you're not familiar with that story, look it up. But he hit rock bottom. And he has gone so far in the last 12, 16 months to be, quite frankly, close to one of the best players in the game of golf. And to win on such a stage, I mean, he waited until the last event of the year to win, but he was every week putting something together, something close. He was putting good. He was chipping good. He was hitting the ball off the tee good. And I feel like this comeback means a lot more to him than we may think because of how much struggle it's been for him to get to where he is now. And I think it means a lot for the PGA Tour. It means a lot to his fans. I mean, you watch some of these videos of him walking down 18 fairway. It's a mob of people, like crazy. Thousands of people. And I read a small interview with Joe LaCava where he said that the police officer walking next to him after Rory, and if you haven't seen that, it was pretty cool. Rory took off running. He was like, look, this is your show, not mine. He took off running, and then the cop said to Joe LaCava, what do you want me to do with these people? And Joe said, as long as they don't trample my man, let him go.
They came close.
And I like that. They were getting very close. Yes, they were. Everybody had their phones out too, and I'm not saying that I wouldn't be doing the same thing, but you know, it's a big deal for him. It's a big deal for golf. And I think that it's a big deal for the 2018-2019 season. And, you know, what's next for him will be interesting to see as he enters the 2019 season. He's got a couple of pretty good opportunities with majors. I mean, Augusta is always going to be an opportunity for him. And one of the things that I realized on Sunday when I would notice that Rory was 45, 50 yards in front of him off the tee, but in the rough, and Tiger was 300, 305 yards in the fairway, that he wasn't swinging out of his shoes and he started hitting fairways. And that's a big thing too. But it's a big deal for him. It's a big deal for golf. And as his biggest fan, it's a big deal for me because, as you said, I can watch golf on Sunday now.
That's awesome. Well, it's a perfect lead into my next question. Fans of this show and people that follow you on Twitter and LinkedIn and all the other outlets you've got, the Google Golf Plus community, they know that you're Tiger's biggest fan. So what does this mean for you personally, Ricky?
I was close to throwing in the towel, to be honest, when he was not able to even walk. And, this season, even as he was progressing, week after week, I saw it. I saw it getting better. And I worried for a good 6 months that his putting he was so good. He
switched from the Scotty Cameron. I couldn't believe that.
What was that? You're hitting a mallet putt. It looks like you grabbed it out of the recycle bin. I mean, it was buy that Golf Galaxy? Like, what was on sale? And that's when I realized that he knew he had a problem with putting. And I always say, when he's hitting the ball left, he's hitting the ball right, somebody grab him and say, Tiger, figure it out. And obviously he's smarter than that. And he put the Scotty Cameron back in his bag. And even this past week, just with the Tour Championship, he was putting better than I've seen him putt in a long time. And to me, as a golf fan, it on the hashtag Wednesday Match Play, every week I ask the question, do you think Tiger breaks Jack's record? Why or why not? Well, him winning this week puts that question even more into the picture because it's a big deal for him to win that tournament. But for me, it's a big deal as a golf fan to be able to see him get back to the level that he's at. I posted about it on Facebook, and somebody, I don't know who it was, said, yeah, but it was only a 30-player field, and a full field of 156, he wouldn't even be in the top 10.
That was the best 30 players in the world.
Not only the best 30 players in the world, the best 30 players that are playing right now. Like, that is as good as it freaking gets. And there's no question that he's able to compete. And, during the final round, they were talking about all these guys, that Dustin Johnson and Rory and Jordan Spieth and all these guys. I mean, they haven't played with him and seen him compete at this level. And now they did. The dude shot 1 over par, almost doubled 16 and 17, managed to skip out of those two with bogeys, and still won the tournament by 2 strokes. He didn't even play. I mean, he played steady all week, but he didn't play great. He just hit the ball in play and hit some fairways and some greens. But it's a big deal for me, and as his biggest fan, it puts a new light on what's to come. And the next 2, 3, 5 years, as long as he stays healthy, is going to be a fun little run we have coming up.
Yeah, you're going to have a lot of fun. Like I said, you'll be back on that couch watching for once. All right, so Tiger's in Paris for the Ryder Cup. I was actually shocked to see him on the plane with the team. I thought that was pretty cool. He wasn't too cool to be on the plane with the rest of the guys. But how confident were you that he was going to get the nod? And how do you think Team USA does this week, Ricky?
They had to give it to him. He played really well. He only missed 1 cut all year, and they had to give him the nod. From a ratings perspective, he's never played good in the Ryder Cup. He's never been a good player, and honestly, I think he's a better captain or vice captain or whatever. And it'll be interesting to see what Duval does in that role. But I think that now the way Tiger's been playing and the excitement surrounding him and the motivation that he creates, especially for the younger guys, is there are guys on the team that are where they are today on the PGA Tour because of him, and now to be playing alongside him when he's playing arguably the best golf of his life, it's fun to see him there. And yeah, you're right. So I didn't even realize he wasn't kind of taking the have a couple of cocktails, jump on a private jet, and fly over after Eastlake. But Chip Essig, who is a good friend of mine, he's involved with the PGA, was actually on that plane with Tiger. Posted a picture sitting in coach, mind you, of like looking towards first class, and Tiger's up there somewhere, and Chip had posted a couple of pictures about it. But that's cool from a team building perspective. Tiger's changed a lot just in the last couple of years. He's smiling, he's signing autographs, he's a different person than he was before. And I think that's part of why jump on my plane when I can sit in first class with my teammates. And that says a lot about what's happened and how he's changed over the years. And this week will be fun. I honestly, nothing against Team USA, but I don't think they can win. And
really?
I say that because of the course that they're playing. There's a lot of hype around the captain's picks. It's Finau's first Ryder Cup. It's a young team, not a ton of experience. It's not a bomber's paradise. This golf course is strategic. You miss fairways, you're in trouble. I mean, Tiger was hitting stingers today all over the place. And a good friend of mine, Michael Altoff, who's actually a former guest of the hashtag Wednesday Match Play, is there. And he's already talking about the conditions of the golf course and how it's setting up high winds and cool temperatures and just what the Europeans like. And it'll be interesting to see. But I think the excitement right now, I think it's too close to the Tour Championship, quite frankly. I mean, Tour Championship ends, and then the next week it's the Ryder Cup. Like, give us a break. Like, let us get it, acclimated to the Ryder Cup. But it's been a long time since the USA has repeat with the Ryder Cup, and it'll be fun. It'll be interesting. I'm curious to see who the pairings are. See who Tiger plays with it. I mean, is Fury funny enough to put him with Mickelson? Like, how good would that be, right? Or Patrick Reed, who baby Tiger. It'll be fun to see.
Yeah. Well, I guess they have the uniforms, so they can't be both wearing red.
Yeah,
it would be interesting. All right, so I saw this. You posted a quote on Facebook the other day talking about Sam Snead, and he was 47 years old before he won his 80th tournament. Woods just did it at 42. He's got 3 more to go until he breaks Snead's record. Do you think he's going to do it?
I do, and I honestly think he does it next year. I think he gets the motivation from wins. I think he's waited and waited and waited for so long to get that win. He got that win, and I mean, not that I'm saying he's going to play in the John Deere Classic, but he has that option. And if he's trying to get to that record, I mean, the majors record is obviously the big one, but he's got to get to the wins record. And I think that there's no question he gets it. It's just a matter of when. And to look at what Sam Snead looked like and comparing the fitness that Tiger is in, I mean, obviously his fitness has also led to his injuries potentially, but I think it's just a matter of time. And those 2 records are the 2 reasons why I feel like Tiger tees it up when he does, is to get that wins record. I mean, 80 is absurd. 80 tournament wins. Can you imagine? There are guys that are in the Hall of Fame that have less than 10 wins that have had careers.
Bubba Watson just this year with his 12th win was saying, "Hey, this is my Hall of Fame. I've won 12 tournaments."
12 is baby games to Tiger. How many majors has Tiger won? Like, that's absurd. I mean, Tom Lehman, I don't think Tom Lehman even has 10 tournament wins in his career. Wow. Tom Lehman's one of the best names. I mean, that guy is a legend, right? And to have 80 wins, and it's really cool to have followed that and to have been a part of that history and to watch it. And I mean, I am not a part of it, but I've been able to see it. And we're honored to be able to be alive during what I think is the greatest comeback in professional sports, and to see him win tournaments even at this age after what he's been through. A good friend of mine who lives here in Naples has had that back surgery 1 time. The Tiger's had 3 times, and he said, "I'm lucky I can even walk, let alone play golf." And he does not swing 110 miles an hour like Tiger does. So, I think that the next win will be easier for him unless it's at Augusta, because I mean, obviously a major win is going to be a little bit more challenging. But I think that the wins record is a no-brainer, and I'm not going to guesstimate how many he gets, but there's no question in my mind, if he stays healthy for the next 3, 5, 7 years, that he breaks that record and wins 5, 7, 10 more than that.
I'd like to see him win at Bay Hill, and in fact, I'm wearing the Bay Hill shirt today. You and I were there.
Right here.
This year.
Pin, I absolutely love this pin that waitress gave us that she said was like limited edition. Sits right here on my desk. I look at it daily.
That's awesome.
And he's only won. So, he's never to Bay Hill. He's never won. No one has ever won a tournament 8 times besides him. He's won 2 tournaments 8 times. Could you imagine winning the same golf tournament 9 times? Like, that's absurd. 9 of your wins are at the same golf tournament, and Bay Hill would be one of those places that he could do it.
Yeah, we saw his plaque. So all the players have plaques on their lockers, and they'll have to probably fill up the entire locker with wins. Right?
Give him another door. He gets 2 lockers because we've run out of room for his plaques.
Exactly. Oh my goodness. Hey, did you see the Scratch TV video of Tiger's reaction to all the pundits?
Not only did I see it, I laughed out. I've watched it 6, 7, 10 times. It is hilarious. And the first time I watched it, the very first time, I was sucker. I was like, yep. He's doing that. He's sitting there with an iPad. And then I was like, wait a minute, that's an old video of Tiger. They did such a good job. They faked the entire internet. That thing's got so many retweets. And I wish it was real. And I hope that when Tiger saw that version, he went back to every single one of those people and was like, hey, Stephen A. Smith, check this out. This is hilarious. Guess who just won? me. But yeah, they did a really good job with that. And I don't know those guys. I know nothing about those guys, but I should look into that and get those guys on the show because they obviously have a lot of fun. They'd be a fun guest on the hashtag Wednesday Match Play.
Absolutely. All right. So in an interview earlier this week, someone asked Tiger who he'd put on his golf Mount Rushmore. He actually said he'd put himself on there. So I'd love to hear your thoughts on that and who you think would go on your golf Mount Rushmore, Ricky.
The first time I heard that, I was like, "Wow, that's a little aggressive there, Tiger." Yeah. But I'm like, "Who else are you gonna put?" Like, I mean, you could have said Palmer. You could have said, there's some other names you could have said, Player or whatever. But he's right. I mean, he knows what he's done and is going to continue to do for the game of golf. And I saw more people were arguing with his other picks than were arguing with him picking himself, which I thought was kind of cool. If I had to pick my golf Mount Rushmore, it'd be Tiger. It'd be 4 times over. It'd be 3-year-old Tiger when he was a little kid hitting balls on the Johnny Carson show. It'd be 1997 Tiger when he won his first Masters. And I actually, right back here, I have a sign. Have I ever told you this story? Let me see if I can. You can barely see it. That right there.
Nice.
So that was on my desk when I left the Troon corporate office. I came back from vacation, and that was on my desk. And it's signed Tiger Woods, 97 Masters, 12 strokes. I've never seen him sign something 12 strokes related to that event. Wow. And I still, to this day, have no idea who gave that to me. So whatever person gave that to me, if you're watching, don't tell me. I don't want to know. I want it to just be a secret for life. But 97 Masters was one of the most memorable Masters that I've ever had because that was his first one, and he's come so far. 2007, 2008, when he was at the peak of his career, quite frankly, when he was winning 65, 68% of his tournaments. And modern day, to go from 3 to 97 to 2008 to 2018, 10 years ago, would you think that this guy would have gone through what he's gone through and have come back and won and still be? The Tour Championship had the record for the most views of any PGA Tour event, I'm pretty sure, ever. If not this year, for sure. But it might have been the most viewers ever. It was like 7.8 million or something crazy. It was unbelievable. Wow. And that's cool, right? That a 42-year-old guy who a year ago couldn't walk and was, parking in the handicap parking because he couldn't get into the door is now win the Tour Championship. So that would be my golf Mount Rushmore. But I applaud him because when he said that, he was so matter of fact that, and the people that he picked, I'm glad that he picked Nicholas. Nicholas actually tweeted about that, giving him kind of some props, like, hey, thank you for the mention. And I'd love to see Nicholas answer that question, to see who Nicholas would put on his golf Mount Rushmore. But I'd have to have Tiger. That's the way I'd go.
Yeah, absolutely. I'd go probably Tiger, Arnie, Jack, and then probably one of the older guys, maybe Hogan or something like that, Yeah.
Even old Tom Morris, though? Could that be like going back to young or old Tom Morris for that matter? Take it way back. We got to put a fifth head up there.
Well, if you're talking like founding fathers, then yeah, that would probably make sense. So we're here.
I don't want to interrupt you, but I might add that to the questions of the hashtag Wednesday Match Play. That might be a new
question.
Yeah. Who would be on your golf Mount Rushmore? Yes.
I love that question.
Starting soon, you will see that question on the show.
Awesome. All right. Well, we're actually here at question number 7 here as we are playing in on our round of 9. So Tiger was very emotional in that post-game conference that he gave, but it wasn't even a major. So what do you think his emotion level will be like when he does win that first major that you think he's going to do?
I thought he'd be a little bit more excited with this one. I'm not saying he missed that birdie putt on purpose, but he knew that he could 2-putt it and didn't matter. I think he was just kind of taking it all in with that many people there. I watched an interview today where he said that he didn't even notice those people because he was in front of them, but he could hear them. He knew they were there. When he gets onto that green, he turns around and there's 10,000 people in the fairway. I didn't love his reaction. He slammed his putter on the green and raised his hands like, that's a typical Tiger thing. I've thought that in the past, I've wanted his next win to be a major, and I want his interview to either be one of two ways. I want it to be, I played great this week. I hit a lot of greens, hit a lot of fairways. Feels good to be back in the winner's circle. Like the very typical expected response, or to be like, hey, I'm 43 years old. Shut up. I just won the Masters. Any questions? Like, I want it to be one of the two. And then based on the way that he's behaved and the way that he's acted this year, it's definitely going to be the cool, calm, and collected. And, you know, he almost choked up a couple of times at the end on Sunday, which you would never – I mean, he cried when he won the 97 Masters because his dad was there, and he's cried at a couple of events, and quite frankly related to his dad. But, you know, I just – whatever his reaction is when he wins his next tournament or his next major, we get to see it, and that's cool. And I want the next major to just be what's, you know, sparks him to go break that record. And going back to Chip Essick, who I was telling you was and ironically enough, was on the plane with Tiger on his way to Paris. When he was on the hashtag Wednesday match play, I asked that question, do you think Tiger wins another major? Why or why not? And, you know, or breaks Jack's record, why or why not? He said, if he wins one more, he breaks the record. And I love that because then he went on to explain that that's all Tiger needs is that motivation to be able to get fire under him to go win more tournaments. And going back to your question earlier, what does this win mean to Tiger? That's a big deal. That now he knows he can compete. He can literally compete with the best players in the world and make it kind of look easy and win tournaments. So yeah, there's no question he can win major tournaments again, especially at courses that he likes, because he's not always loved Eastlake. And he made a couple of comments this past week about they flipped the 9, so they didn't end on a par 3. And, you know, I'm very excited for what's next. And I whatever he says in his post-round interview when he wins his next major, he can say whatever he wants because chances are going to be good. I'm going to be crying and sobbing in whatever kind of so, I mean, it doesn't matter what he does, what he says. I'm going to be upset.
I wonder if he'll get to 100. I mean, that's probably. I bet that at this point it's got to be within sight of what he'd love to do.
Can you imagine that? Like,
yeah. Well,
80 is absurd. Can you imagine 100?
I bet that's his goal. I don't know. That's just what I think.
But see, if you're him, don't you play in the Shell Houston Open? Don't you play in the John Deere Classic? These tournaments that 4 guys that you've heard of play in? Like, right. Don't you go win these? Just nothing against those events.
You got to do that, right?
Yeah, like, I mean, that would be awesome. And I don't want him to the majors record. And to speaking of majors, I don't want him to get. He can't tie it solely because of Johnny Miller. Because if he ties it, Johnny will have a field day. Oh, well, he didn't break the record, and he only tied it. If you're gonna win another one, you got to break it. Don't get closer and closer and closer. If you tie it, don't tie it. Stop at 17. Don't go to 18. 17 or 19. That's it. You get one or the other. Tiger, you figure it out. You pick.
You heard it here first from Ricky Potts. He's climbed 1,186 spots in the world golf rankings just in the last year. Do you think he's going to be number 1?
There was a point where he was next to guys not that long ago where he was next to guys above him and below him that I've never even heard of.
Guys that are playing the John Deere.
Touche. Yes, guys that are maybe
we're missing the cut on the John
Deere. He's right now, I believe. I haven't looked at the most recent rankings. He's in the top 15, I know for sure. Yes, I do think he gets back to number 1. I don't know if he stays there for as long as he stayed there when he was there in his prime. And that's not the point. But, you know, that's what's funny about you mentioned the number 1. So Tiger wins. Everybody is focused on that. Don't even worry about Justin Rose winning the FedEx Cup. Like, who cares? You just won $10 million and a better trophy. Tiger got a golf club made out of metal. Like, what is that? Like, and then Dustin Johnson went back to number 1 in the world. Nobody even knows that. Like, nobody's even paying attention to that. And I kind of wanted Rose to 3-putt 18 so Tiger would win the FedEx Cup too. That's being greedy. I get it. I'm being greedy.
Very.
I know.
Rose had a great year.
He won a golf tournament. That's what I'm focused on. He won a golf tournament. So, yes, I do think he gets back to number 1. And I don't think it happens because he goes on a tear. I think it just happens because of the consistency that he plays. I mean, he only missed 1 cut this year. And I don't know the exact number of cuts that he's missed in his career. But I know for a fact that Jordan Spieth has missed more cuts than Tiger in his career, and he's 24 years old, maybe 25, whatever.
Wow.
And Tiger's 42. Like the dude, I mean, he's something else. But yes, I think we see that maybe by May, June. I think we see him back in the number 1 spot, and it'll be fun when he gets back there because you know me, I always like to give people a hard time to think that Jack is the GOAT. But as you and I know, and everyone watching at home, that, you know, I'm sorry, Tiger's the GOAT.
Well, we've heard you ask this question to every single one of your guests here on hashtag Wednesday Match.
I knew this was coming. I knew this was coming.
It's time to ask you, and I think I know the answer to the question, but I'm obliged to ask it either way. Do you think Tiger breaks Jack's record?
Yes, 100%. But you didn't see that coming. If he stays healthy for the next 5 to 7 years, he's going to need 7 years to do it. If he stays healthy and can continue to hit the ball 280 to 310 yards, doesn't get hurt again. Because if he gets hurt one more time, there's no more gone for 18 months and comes back. That's done. This is his last lap.
Right.
He's done. This is his last chance. If he stays healthy until he's into his mid to late 40s, yes, I think he breaks the record, because I feel like he could win at Augusta until he's 60. He can win at Pebble Beach with his eyes closed. He can win anywhere in Scotland with a 3-iron in his hands. This year alone, or next year in 2019, he gets Pebble, he gets Augusta, he gets and that he wouldn't be playing and putting this much effort into the comeback if he didn't think that he could break the record. The day that he retires, whether he breaks the record or not, we should all just be thankful for what he's done for the game of golf. That, you know, you and I work in this business. I know who he is because I know what golf is because of him. I joke, but I drive a red and black car because he wears red on Sunday. I'm not kidding. It's going to be a shame if he doesn't break the record for what he's done for the game of golf. And we've never met, and I'm not sure we ever will meet someone that could even scare the record. You'll see guys like a Brooks Koepka is going to win 2, 3, 4 in his career, maybe. He could never win another major championship in his career. He won 2 this year. Nobody even talks about it. And it'd be a shame if he doesn't break the record, but in his current capacity, if he stays healthy for 3 to 5, 7 years max, I think he breaks the record I think he can get to 20. I honestly think he could get to 20 major championships.
Wow.
Which is absurd. But
it's bold. But we would expect nothing less from his biggest fan, honestly.
Let's see what happens if he gets to let's say he gets to 19. Does he give up? Is he done? Is he like, all right, I'm going to fade off into the sunset? Or does he keep going to get to 2021? Like, what's hit? Like, I would love to be able to be off camera, off air, sitting there with him to ask him that question, because you know that he's playing to win, but that major record that's on the front of his mind every time he tees it up, especially in a major championship. And I just love to know what his motivation is, and I honestly think he breaks it, and it's going to be fun to watch regardless of what happens. And if he doesn't, I'll be bitter. I get it. I've got a lot of Tiger stuff that is going to be worth nothing if he doesn't break that. I'm kidding. But I'll still love him regardless. And I had more than one person send me tweets and Facebook messages, and as I'm sitting on the couch literally on Sunday afternoon, like sobbing, people are texting me, "Oh, you stuck with him." And like, they were more excited for me and more happy for me because I stuck with him. So,
right.
You know, it's fun. I'm blessed to have been able to see what he's done even up to this. And I'm going to be curious to see what happens next. But I honestly believe, as where I sit today, if he stays healthy, I think he breaks the record.
Wow, that's amazing. Do we have time for one bonus question here as you're taking a sip of your whiskey?
You know, I am. The glass is almost empty. When it's done, I got to go fill it up. But yes, I would love to answer one more question. This has been really fun. So before we get to that, just thank you for hijacking the show, because this has been so much fun just to talk about Tiger. Like, I don't get the chance to talk about him more than, you know, for a couple of seconds a week when on the show. And you know, in the past, I've come on as the guest of the show, and I've enjoyed that. And one of the things that I'm looking to do with the hashtag Wednesday Match Play is community outreach, trying to reach out to other golf podcasts and golf video shows. As a matter of fact, I'm going to be on one on Friday this week. Actually, tomorrow I'm going to be on one, Links and Libations, which is a really cool concept. It's golf
right up
and
your alley.
beer. Yeah, right. And I reached out to them earlier this week, and I was like, guys, golf, beer. Hi, I'm Ricky. Let's meet. Let's be friends. And
right.
It's turned into them coming on my show, and it's just, I enjoy that. I enjoy meeting people, talking to people. I'm reaching out, and I'm quite frankly, I'm being bold, and I'm like, hi, I'm Ricky. I host a show, and I'm want to come on your show to talk about it. And people are receptive to it, and that's cool. And you're going to see more of that. And I'm excited about the future of the hashtag Wednesday Match Play and with the Golf Radio Network and what we're doing with that. And who knows? Maybe Links and Libations is a show that could be interested in the Golf Radio Network. But it's really fun to be able to answer questions about Tiger, and I appreciate you taking the time out of your day to hijack the show.
Yeah, you're welcome. I don't even know if I ever introduced myself either.
You didn't do that, please. My goodness, you never said who you were.
So for all the people who stuck around, my name is Gabriel Aluisy. I host Private Club Radio, another show on the Golf Radio Network, with which this show belongs as well. So that's why I'm here. So here's question number 10, your bonus question. You've heard probably thousands at this point, maybe tens of thousands of articles and interviews about Tiger. And I'm sure a goal of yours would be to get him on your show or on your blog or something, right? If you had the opportunity, what's the one question that you've never heard asked of Tiger that you would love to have answered by him?
Oh my God, that is so hard. I'm not even to that. Before I answer that question, I need to meet him. I've met him before, but I've never had the chance to shake his hand, so I've not officially met him. And I need the unedited, off-air coffee at a Starbucks, 20 minutes with him. And I'm being a little greedy thinking that that's possible, but I would think that my position and where I'm at in my career, even at the age that I'm at 35, that eventually that's going to happen. And, you know, I've got guys that I've worked with where I've sat at the same table after playing golf with a guy who says, oh, I played Augusta 3 times. That seems so outrageous, but I'm connected to those people through my career, right? So I need that. That has to happen. And that's not from a fanboy perspective. That's from a sheer respect for what he's done for the game, because I don't know if I would know what golf is without him. So that needs to happen. And I don't know if our conversation, or even if he was on this show, I'd probably only get about 2.5 to 3 questions out of it, because he's a busy person. But, you know, I think that off the top of my head, I would ask his father and how that relationship, because you see all the footage from when he was young and playing golf, and he's never said, and I don't want to compare it to Michael Jackson, but it's a similar kind of story, you know, realizing that at such a young age, and then not pushing them, but the assumption that they're being pushed for their entire life to be the best of what they can be it Michael Jackson as a singer-songwriter, you know, musician, or Tiger as a golfer. But you and anyone that knows the relationship that Tiger had with his father know that was a big, big, big deal when his father passed away. And I would love to be able to just candidly ask, with a tear in both of our eyes, how that impacted him as a professional golfer when his dad did in fact pass away. Because there's been a couple of books that have been written about Tiger where he talks about kind of around that subject. I mean, there was a point where Tiger almost quit the PGA Tour to go be like a Navy SEAL. Like, he was going to training, right, jumping out of planes and doing, you know, boot camps and stuff. And I wonder that was related to his dad and the upbringing that he had. But I honestly think that if it wouldn't be the first question I would ask, by God, but it would be something that would come out, and that I would hope would come out, to be able to just hear him say how much his father meant to him from childhood through, and what his father means to him today as a professional athlete, getting to him to where he is, and how much motivation he pulls from his, and even his mother, who is still alive, how much motivation he pulls from his upbringing and his family, and just exactly how much his dad does mean to him in his career.
Yeah, that would be special. Wow, that's not what I expected, but it's an interesting question, and I hope you get a chance to do that, Ricky. Man, thank you so much for doing this with me. Thanks for joining me and talking about your hero, the GOAT. I hope we get to do it again sometime, and I hope folks that are listening to this or watching this subscribe to your #Wednesday Match Play on YouTube. They subscribe to the podcast on either iTunes, Stitcher, or wherever they get their podcasts, and they remember to eat, sleep, and golf.
That is fantastic, and I am going to start doing that. Gabe, thank you so much for hijacking the show. You are more than welcome to come back on this show at any time. I love talking about Tiger, and the same goes for your show. I know we waited until the end to introduce yourself, but please, everybody watching at home, subscribe to Private Club Radio. It is a fantastic conversation, regardless of the guest that he gets on, whether it's somebody talking about membership or somebody talking about marketing or somebody talking about the CMAA. Always great content from him. And the same thing goes for you. Subscribe to him on iTunes, Stitcher, anywhere you listen to podcasts. But Gabe, I appreciate it. And yes, you have to remember to eat. I love that you did the motions. Sleep. Golf.